Hi, Gary Stearman coming to you from the Prophecy Watchers studio with Bob Ulrich, and we're going to talk about some things that are going on at Prophecy Watchers, including, by the way, not just an update, but I think a really dramatic announcement.
Well, there's a new day dawning at Prophecy Watchers. We're about to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. Gary, it hardly seems possible. I thought you retired 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody ever really retires, particularly if you're a Bible teacher. You go as long as you can because, let's face it, you need relevancy in today's fast-moving world where people are denouncing virtually everything that has any spiritual merit whatsoever. And we really feel a calling to stay exactly where we are and to continue doing exactly what we've been doing, except, Bob, it's going to be even better in the coming days.
It is. I went and washed my car last night, and while I was washing the car, I just had this thought come into my head, and it was a word from the Lord, and it just said, you are a blessed man. And, we are a blessed ministry.
We are.
5 years ago, we started with nothing. And to see where the Lord has brought us, and of course we give him all the glory. As many of you know, we've recently acquired the former Trinity Broadcasting television studios and headquarters right here in Oklahoma City, of all places. And for the last couple of months, we have been working diligently to get that headquarters up to speed. A lot of the technology in the building is almost 20 years old. We've been tearing up carpets, replacing floors, moving our shipping department, having new phones installed, new internet installed, replacing appliances. I mean, you name it, we've done it. But we're getting ready for a big open house on October 13th, which will be the day after our Watchers Weekend Prophecy Conference in Norman, which, by the way, if you haven't registered for the 11th and the 12th of October at the Embassy Suites in Norman, you'll want to do that today. We have also just rolled out the live streaming and video on demand for the conference. You can go to prophecywatchers.com, click on the big banner for just $39.95. You literally can enjoy every message from the conference, which I think is really wonderful for a lot of people all over the world.
Indeed. Bob, we live at times that are exciting, but they're perplexing as well. And we get a lot of mail from people everywhere saying, what's your opinion? What do you think is going on? What's happening? We don't feel as though we're rooted and grounded in the events that are coming down the line, just one after another. And they're not teaching prophecy in my church. I watch what you guys are doing and saying, and I'm trying my best to make sense out of this crazy world today. And Bob, that puts us exactly in the center of, I think, where the Lord wants us to be.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better. We hear it literally almost on a daily basis from people from not just the United States, but from all over the world.
Yeah.
I think about the people in so many countries that watch our program on YouTube regularly. They're in Austria, they're in Cyprus, they're in Singapore, they're in the UK, they're in Canada, they're in Holland. You start to lose track of all the countries and all the people who are watching diligently. We had a couple come to our conference last year from Austria.
That's right.
All the way from Austria. They flew over for our prophecy conference, and their comment was, we're starving for prophetic information here. There's nowhere we can learn any of this stuff other than through you guys. And over, we hear these same stories. So with that in mind, we have a really big announcement that we've been teasing about for a few months. I think maybe I might be a little more excited about it than Gary. What do you think?
Well, that's because you don't have to do the work, Bob.
That's right.
Bob is good-hearted, and he's got great intentions, and he's always thinking of the next level. He never stops planning. But you know what? There's work to be done.
There is. And when you get these emails from people, and they just pour their heart out and tell you how much they love your ministry, how much they love your teaching. Now, you pastored a church here in Oklahoma City, Grace Fellowship, for about 33 years.
I did. And at Grace Fellowship, not only did I teach the Bible verse by verse, but I also taught systematic theology, Bible history, and more than that, I became absolutely convinced that the Bible is a unit, Genesis to Revelation. It's one book. not to be separated. It begins, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and you go all the way to the last page of the Bible, and it says, and God created a new heavens and a new earth. Well, that's quite a set of bookends. But between those two earth creations, there is the entire Bible, and it's one story. Most people don't teach it that way. And let me give you an example. In the New Testament has 27 books, Bob, and years ago it dawned on me that 27 book grouping was divided into 3 parts. And the first part would be Matthew through Galatians. And what do you suppose Matthew through Galatians is talking about? It's talking about the coming, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the foundation of the church, and the disposition of the church. And then you turn the page and you come to Ephesians through Philemon. And what we have there is the absolute definition of what the church is, and describing even the church age from Ephesians, which essentially establishes the church, to Philemon, which is the farewell note from the Father. Turn the page again, you come to the third 9 books, Hebrews through Revelation, and what's that all about? Well, that's all about the consequences of the church having been on earth. And you look at these things systematically, and suddenly you realize, well, I'm a part of something bigger than I ever realized. And that's when people get excited about the Bible, when you begin to show them that not only is it some wonderful little verses that are connected in various ways, but it has structure, it has impact, it has power to change men's minds and to change their hearts in a day when that really needs to happen. And that's the way I teach the Bible.
You know, that's just one of many, many hundreds of examples of some of the things you've discovered over the years about the Bible. I think back on the years you spent studying the Hebrew alphabet, you mentioned the New Testament, but you know the Old Testament has 39 books. But originally, when it was put together, 1st and 2nd Kings were one book, 1st and 2nd Chronicles were one book, Jeremiah and Lamentations were one book. So actually the Old Testament originally had 22 books. Well, there just happened to be 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And when you follow the patterns and the things that you see after you understand that one missing fact, it'll change your entire view of divine inspiration. And if you believe that the Bible is just a collection of Jewish folk tales, you've been greatly deceived. It is an organized structure, far more to it than any human being can ever discover, but you have discovered some amazing things over the years that really cement the fact that the Bible is divinely inspired.
In fact, the Bible is laid out alphabetically, numerically. It is laid out acrostically, that is to say, number, letter, combination groups. And Psalm 119, for example, is alphabetic. And everybody knows that, but have you ever studied it alphabetically to see what that means? And I would say that in 9 times out of 10, the answer would be no. I haven't studied it alphabetically.
Well, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you read the book of Philemon? When was the last time you read the book of Philemon?
Actually, about 2 days ago. Philemon, a wonderful little story. In fact, I have my Bible open to Philemon right now, 25 verses. And you say, wow, that doesn't amount to much. It's a 1-page book of the Bible. But what it's all about is the love of the Father and what he will do for his children. And it's astonishing when you read it in that context, and not very many people do.
Well, it is a story, a beautiful story, and a beautiful picture that when you see it for the first time in the light that you cast on it, takes on a whole new meaning. Now, we've been doing a lot of teasing for the last few months. Our new television sets are under construction. We have been very, very blessed to actually find the original set designer who designed the original sets for TBN back in 2002. He's about 80 years old. He still lives here in Oklahoma City. We met with him, just a wonderful man. I was excited to be able to get the opportunity to come and help us build these new sets. When those new sets are finished, and we're probably looking in October or November, sometime around there before we really move out of this studio into the new studio, we'll be doing something completely different. When I say a new day has dawned at Prophecy Watchers, A new day really has dawned. We're going to be announcing a special Sunday morning weekly Bible study. And the name of all names that we could come up with is something very simple. It's going to be called Studies with Stearman. And you guys are actually going to get the opportunity to tune in on YouTube, on Roku, on the Prophecy Watchers app, on our webpage. Anywhere our program is aired, you're going to be able to watch a weekly Bible study that Gary is going to teach every week. So when you talk about somebody has to do the work, well, I can't think of anybody better to do the work than you, Gary.
And Bob, it'll be work exactly like I've done now for literally decades, because when I was teaching at the Bible church, I had a weekly preparation, and I'm still going to have a weekly preparation for a Bible lesson. I have so much I'd like to share, and I'm going to do it, God willing, in ways that I hope you'll appreciate.
Well, if the Lord tarries, come October, November, you literally are going to have a weekly visit with Pastor Gary. And Sunday mornings, anywhere you can find us, you're going to find his message and his teaching. I'm kind of getting goosebumps talking about it because I know how hungry people are to hear your teaching. You teach at a completely different level than I think anybody in the world today. I mean, a lot of the things you uncover that God shows you are things that you just won't read anywhere. You don't hear them in most churches, other than pastors who watch Prophecy Watchers who talk about some of the things Gary finds. But it's an exciting time for us. I hope it's going to be well received and an exciting time for you.
It's going to be exciting. And by the way, not only will I teach the Bible contextually, but I will also teach it in terms of its societal impact. And given today's society, global society today, Bob, is coming unglued faster than you could possibly imagine. And the real insight into what's happening today in today's world can only be found in the pages of Scripture. So I'm going to be bringing a lot of that to you as well.
Well, Prophecy Watchers is not about entertainment. We are here to create content to educate people. We have a mission statement that talks about the 5 E's and all the things that our ministry does. I just want to say how incredibly grateful we are for your financial support. We didn't buy this big, beautiful building just to have more space. We bought it to create content, to do things we've never been able to do before. Studies with Stearman is going to be the first thing we launch in the new building. Not the last thing, believe me. We have a whole laundry list of plans, things we're excited about because God is blessing this ministry, and we want to thank you for being a part of that.
Thank you so much. And going out today, I just want to urge you to come visit us and share your story with us on Watchers Weekend. Bob, Watchers Weekend is going to be a little bit different conference than we've done in the past, but I think it's going to be really exciting.
Well, we've got 14 great speakers who are going to be preaching their hearts out for 2 days. We actually have the film premiere of Brent Miller Jr.'s new film, Before the Wrath, which we've been waiting for about a year and a half. It's almost here. You're going to be able to see it for the first time at our conference in Norman. Just go to prophecywatchers.com, register for the conference, register for the live streaming, and keep supporting our ministry. God is at work here.
And God is at work in a very, very special way in the world today. I'm more than convinced that He's raised up Prophecy Watchers at this time in history to bring clarity, to bring a very, very succinct and powerful message of Bible prophecy to this generation. And I'm very, very happy that we're doing what we're doing. And I've got to say thanks to all of you who support us and to your families, to your groups. We hear from people all over the world who are very excited about what we're doing. And I just want you to know that we're equally excited here. Anything else, Bob?
Studies with Stearman, coming soon to a television near you.
I'm Gary Stearman. Hey, you keep watching. We are.